Hi, I'm Michael, and
I'm Matthew. You know me, I'm always proper with my stuff
I know you like always
because I am always
I'm
proper and
thinking,
serious. So
who am I?
like this, I haven't went with the wine today.
Come on.
Yes. Which wine
Who
do you
am
have over
I?
there?
Who are you?
Who am I? Which wine did you get today?
Let's see. Let's see, the Whitehaven Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc. Although it's 2022, I wonder what like a 2021
Oh,
would be.
interesting. I got a 2022 as well, but not that one. I got the. I don't have the bottle next to me, unfortunately.
Well, it was
But
so crazy because, like, I remember in 2023, looking at everything, I only wanted 2021, like, minimum. That way it's like, okay, good 2 year
mm,
aging process. It's 2024 now. Good 2 year
yeah.
aging.
So it's not a little bit aged. Fine.
Little bit, not
Yeah.
completely, like,
Yeah, I got the Olima one, which is good. I like this because it has like I do really notice that the grapefruit, the citrus part of it. I think that's the part that actually like made it
I was
different.
taking more pear and lime.
Yeah, actually, this is the thing. I noticed a pair lessness than I do in most other ones.
Interesting.
Like it's actually less, like actually to a point where like actually I think the citrus does kind of like take over the profile, but it's not in a bad
Hmm.
way.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
interesting. I mean, if you like the lemon and the grapefruit and so on.
yeah, it's really good. Yes.
What's our
S-
topic today, Matthew?
So we're talking about friendship, and
Oh
I
my
noticed
gosh.
yes, and so I don't know. You did the bullet point on examples of self or friendship with yourself. That's what. So that one I'm actually interested in that one.
Ooh.
So what was it? What was so friendship
Okay.
with yourself? What does that look like to you then?
Well, because in my mind, it's like okay, sometimes what's that? They always say put a label on it or whatever. Like, what's this relationship with yourself? I think at least at minimum, you should like your or love yourself like a friend or a best friend would.
Oh yes,
Because
yes.
like, what's that? Because to me, it sounds like if you're gonna use any other relationship, like I'm married to myself. Well, it's pretty vain or whatever, but like, if you're your best friend, like, you're taking care of yourself, you're looking out for someone. So if you're that tough love kind of friend, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
come on now. Are we really gonna keep doing this? You're right. Let me get my life together. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna support you all the way.
Yes, and like when you when you look at it through a lens like that, I think that when you're supporting yourself like that means you also like because think about that's that then yeah, is truly like the best friend that if you're being the best friend to yourself then you got to be holding yourself accountable for what you want to
Mhm.
do, the things that you need, your silliness as well, like you
Yeah.
can be silly with yourself. It's about
And
loving
that's
yourself.
the
It's a
stuff.
self-love thing as well. It's like being able to actually accept you. It is kind of a self-love topic still, but it's still about trying to be your own best friend. Yeah.
Well, and I'm so glad you brought up silliness because I feel like, especially in our um, what is it? Work-based driven society, we often don't take enough time for our own, or like we're always so serious or trying to meet this or that. Whenever like I feel like I love whenever you can allow somebody to just completely relax,
Hmm.
and then they can bring their inner child out and just be silly with you.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
I feel like that is such are so invaluable. Like people don't do that enough for each other.
Yeah, because see when you're able. So I think the thing about when you're able to do that for yourself, you're able to sit there and say, "Hey, you know what?" It's like what also think about the crazy. Like think about I think the best thing is like what do you act like when you're with no one?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, when I'm by myself, I'm in my underwear, I'm dancing to music, I'm probably cleaning something, watching something hilarious. I don't know
Yeah, right.
why. Like, I've been sharing it with you. You've
Yeah,
seen, I don't know what fascination of drag queens got me lately, but at least I found these two, and I think they're hilarious, and it's mostly for the comedy. Like, I like to laugh, I like to enjoy myself. Sometimes me and my
they have
mother.
that serious that unseriousness about them. So
Exactly, and especially in the kind of profession I am, without actually mentioning it, like it's too serious for me. Like I don't know about anybody else out there, but like I'm always worried about like maybe I should never be invited to like a funeral or something. As at least how I want my own. Like I hope there's some laughs, some jokes.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
because like I know it makes me think of like those like those reels you like we send each other now and then about funerals and stuff, and it's like they're all like about like either about well, it's like these are more desperate. This is like like when people start talking about like they're like a saint or something like that, and they're like, what? Oh
No way.
hell no, I
Not
will
that hard.
not. Oh yeah, like you talk about the same person, like, you're there, you're their support, like you know they're stupid. Like when you start getting all like, yeah,
Mm,
it's like
my oh my.
who is actually really like that? But anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
and like at the end of the day, I think you should enjoy yourself, or at
yeah,
least a time with yourself above all.
yeah, because like what you're saying about yourself, like that's what like when I'm by myself, like what am I doing? Like, uh, I could do a lot of weird things. Like I could just be like fucking weird, just staring at the fucking wall, or I could be like out and you know I could be playing my piano. I could go like I'll go walks, and like sometimes when I'm going for walks, I'm silly. I'll fucking like talk to myself. It's just
I
crazy. I'll even have a
know it's
conversation.
so
I'll have
weird.
conversation. It's not even really about myself. Sometimes it's just
No.
like future event, like future possible events, future possible conversations, future this, or like even winning old arguments,
Oh my gosh,
and
this
then
morning
like
you saw me, that bitch at the GNC or whatever, giving me shit. I'm just like, still, and you?
oh yeah, like oh you do the it's like oh it's like keto's bad for you. Like really?
Really funny. I've
Yeah, I
never
had
felt
had some we
better.
had some
I live a
description of them.
sedentary. I live a
We had our
sedentary.
description of them.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Let's not bring up. I'm
Yes.
over it. I'm over
We got
it.
hey, it's fun. It's like it just brings out our kind of thing how we both actually that's funny with us because we both share that kind of trait of wanting to go back and win
Exactly.
old arguments and win old things like hey how I'd show this.
Look, I have won like a minimum 50 times now with each different thing. Like,
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
okay.
I love that.
Um,
And yeah. So, but yeah, like with and then also sometimes I'll be like, I'll just you know I feel like singing. I'm gonna go sing my heart out. I want to see. I don't care how bad I sound because or
uh,
nothing. And it's like
I'm
I
just like a
love it. Like
Johnny Cat.
for me because like that's like you know that's how I bring my own energy up like or down or wherever I want to be at that moment. It's like yeah.
Oh,
So
like dance too. I don't care if I look like an orangutan with my arms all
right.
swaying. Like, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah. And so like yeah. And so it's like so that where I think this actually kind of maybe segue even to like what you want in a friend too. Cause like
Well,
as
before
what
we start that,
yeah.
I want you to like, because you're the one that explained this to me, or at least your thought process, like law of attraction.
Oh, you want to go law of attraction here first?
Yeah, I want to do
Okay.
that first, because
Okay. Well, this one actually kind of goes into both topics of like it's kind of friendship or love or whatever because I feel like they kind of can be combined because like very much so, and I
yeah.
strongly because that's just my opinion of it though. But I've seen some like you know, always come back. I may have mentioned this in previous episodes because like I talk about Joe Dispenza a lot, but his thing
Mhm.
like it's kind of like a self concept type thing. Well, Law of Attraction is a lot about self concept and like how you there's two different versions. There's like two different sides of it. Like so like law of attraction is like actually more about like attracting like the universe will give you things that you know desire. That's kind of the overview thing. And then a law of assumptions like very similar, but it's more like it's kind of like that, but you're actively controlling your consciousness to a
Mhm.
desired outcome. And trying to get your like the subconscious to work for you.
So how does that
But
work then in relationships? Or like if
so
you let's say like you're trying to attract your friend or your loved one that you want.
So like I don't know, I just remember a couple years ago I saw go to just been to write down like love or something or regardless and like and it was just like write a list out of traits that you want in this person
Mm-hmm.
and then become that person.
Ooh. Why would you do that?
Well, at first it's like well it a lot of it the reason I actually really value that is because if you because one you why would you ask someone else to be something that you can't be?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you desire something? I mean, you might be able, it's like people are gonna do different things, but why would you want something different than what you want to provide as well?
Yes.
So like, let's say you desire like, in my case, I was like, I wanted silliness. I wanted like being able to like work through things, like actually discuss, like be able to discuss, like if there's issues come up, be able to actually have discussions about them, like in a good
Yeah.
way, or like if I can be like my most silly self. I can say the dumbest thing that makes no fucking sense at all. I can be like the dumbest shit, and it doesn't matter because like at the end of the day, you're just trying to have fun. So it's like it doesn't
Exactly.
have to make logical sense. It could just be like random crap that comes out of your mouth. Like, because some days your brain may just work better than the others, and so it's nice to be able to say what's on your mind. And also,
Yeah.
for my what I've noticed, because I'm an introverted person, like by doing that, it also just like when you actually have around people that can do that, like again, I actually get more energy off of it because
Yeah.
versus the other way around because I'm not having to filter things.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes it to where you can talk about like really anything. And so, but yeah, as far as law of attraction, when you're putting that into your like your so you it's a more self concept. So you actually it's rather than saying I want why say we're saying want to be you, that means you're practicing like let's say you want like well, I don't know let's say you want like a really loving friendship or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you got to start practicing I am love or I am this, and you got to actually start trying. And what is that? You got to dive in what that actually is and try to become what that is. Or if it's
Like energy attracting like energy.
yes,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it is like that. Or like even anything like let's just say you just want smart friends or what I don't know. I guess you got to try to work out and be smart. It's kind of weird one. Like I have
Well,
a
then it's
harder time with
obviously
that
not me.
one. I mean, people might resonate a little. I'm a little bit more like that. I actually just like silliness. So mine was just like
Mhm.
I want to become more silly. I gotta actually be willing to be vulnerable to be silly as well in that process and try to become out. And so like I don't know. I would do things. The things I did like for that to try to do that. I would like that's when I started taking up things like karaoke and shit like that because that
Ooh,
was the thing like I was not comfortable in that position, but it was like you know what? But the kind of people that are willing to do this, I want to be around those people.
yes.
So like that's kind of how I saw it. Like I want to be able to
Which
match
brought up
that. Yeah.
which brought up something. It was like partly looking for your innate weaknesses, but like in a respectful, healthy manner. So surrounding yourself with people that grow you in a sense.
Yes.
It may not be your innate strength, but you're also
Right.
safe in like this protection of like, no, we support you because this isn't
Right.
your strength, but it's something.
And like also it's like I don't know. It's like over time you maybe change things. Like it's like maybe like I used to go out and go bars a lot, but I didn't really value that as much. But I still wanted silliness and be around people. So like that's when I took up bouldering because well it's like well there might be some healthy mindset. There's also people can be silly. You can actually meet people. You can do like you can work through things together
Yep.
like that's where you find a similar mindsets like well this one doesn't resonate as much with me anymore so I want to start matching this energy over here rather and start becoming like that or
Yeah.
trying something different or whatever but like it's about finding what you desire and then trying to it's really about becoming that so that way you actually because anybody that shares those values or any like they don't have to share all of them but they share like at least good point. They at least will be able to kind of start matching on some level and start to resonate, and you share experiences and things like that.
Mhm.
So yeah,
No, that's good. So yeah, again, like what do you want in yourself or like what do you want from another person versus what you want in yourself? And they should be synonymous actually, because you want something, embody it. Like we were talking about the law of attraction, so like emulate the energy that you want to attract because
right.
like attracts like.
Yeah,
So
and
if
there's
you're
ways,
putting
and
out
there's
negative or bad energy, well, guess what? Negativity and bad energy will
yes,
just lock to you like
and one of
flies in the
the things on like the law of attraction, like I see like there's all sorts of different like vice and like channels and things like that, which there's like very different things. I think the biggest thing to take away on those is like really just about. I think the biggest one that I think people always think about wanting something rather than like, but I think the biggest foundation that is actually going to work the most is actually working on the self concept, which is something that I know we'll have a card about. So
Yes. Yes. Oh, that excites me because I had a whole thought about that too. Um,
Like they want something, like they want to be able to have, like, say this, let's say it's like a rubber relationship. They want to be able to have like someone that maybe like will cook for them occasionally, things like that. But are you willing to do that as well? Like
Ooh,
you
yeah.
need to be able. Like, are you willing to step up to that? Like you can't just have something. You might be able to. That maybe someone will. Maybe someone will be your freaking like parent in the house taking care of you. But or do you want someone that's actually kind of an equal? It's like
Well, here, equality. You can do the dishes and I'll do the clothes.
yeah, like maybe someone can do maybe what someone enjoys one thing more than the other. It's like more like
I
share
hate
responsibility. It's like,
dishes.
hey, someone can be like, oh, you know what? Here, I like doing laundry. You like doing dishes. You can do that. I'll do this. Like whatever, you know.
You know what's
Like
funny though? I was just thinking about it. Like, if you actually sit here and think about it, because I hate dishes so much. Even if I have a dishwasher, I hate dishes
I don't mind
so
dishes.
much.
Actually, I hate laundry because I don't like
And
I
but
don't
see,
I,
that's the
I don't
thing.
even like the folding process at all
No,
either.
but
So
if
it's
you
like
think about it, you're technically doing more work with laundry because you can't just like, oh, let me just stick it in the dishwasher and it'll dry because it's just steam.
yeah,
To
because I
just
don't know if you saw when I was here.
you can put it up, and
I don't
that's
know if you
actually less work than
right. I don't know if you saw when you was here. Like I would just like
you will.
I immediately I just bring most of the time unless we're just like we're drinking or something. I usually just put it straight in the dishwasher and be like,
No, I hate dishes. Like, I bet if I actually lived my life with paper plates instead, I'd be happier.
I did that for a
So
while.
wasteful, but it's so
I
wasteful.
did that for a while when I was doing for one period I was and it just mean I had to make more trash trips.
And I hate that I think about like there's so much trash in our consumerist
Right.
society. Like I already spend enough and make enough trash because
Right.
everything's in some box or package. I'm like,
It's
I don't
true.
I don't want to add any more to that than I have.
Right. I mean, it could be worse as long as you're not buying styrofoam though. Like that.
Oof.
At least the paper will might unless you get the wax plated ones that might be kind of weird. But like,
Ooh.
I don't know much about like the biodegradable stuff, so don't I don't know anything when it comes to that. So I have a lot of ignorance when it comes to that. But yes,
What about fake friends?
fake friends. Okay.
Friends who don't love you, who don't appreciate you, who don't accept you for who you are, who don't let your silly side out, who don't accept the fact that you're human and have needs
That's the
in the
reason
same
why it took
ways.
me a long time to actually like try to like get to that point of like actually having because I felt like something in my personality just automatically susses that stuff out really quickly. That's the word I want to use. Suspect. Like I don't know. It's like if I notice something that I can't be a certain thing or a certain way, I just kind of like. It's like I don't know if I consider you really a friend or It's like I don't know. I don't know if that is true or not. I'm just this is a subject I don't know as much about. I would have to go back and look and kind of really, but I do. I like deep friendships. I versus
Mhm.
like because everybody I know I have people that are like acquaintances and things. I don't really have much people past that level because something for me just wants something. If I'm having a friend, I want to talk about
There has to be some
stuff that
investment. It can't be because we go to school together, we go to work together,
yeah, I
or like this circumstance. Like,
like like Instagram people followers like those are just followers. I don't think them as friends really. I mean, it's
yeah,
not
unless
diss
we're
anybody that might see
talking
this
or
later, but it's
dating.
like, hey, you know what? It's like my friends actually talk. It's like, but it's like, uh, it's just like, uh, yeah, I don't know, but like, I like to have like deeper ones of like. I mean, there's different levels. Like, yeah, are you going to talk about everything with everybody? Maybe not. I don't think that's what you have to. But
Oh, but that's what your best friend is for. That's not
yeah,
necessarily a friend.
yeah.
I
So
think a friend would still be accepting of you and allow room for error and room for growth,
right, because
and
it's like
vice versa.
I think that's the biggest thing because I don't know where it is, but I think the biggest one that was stuck with me. I feel like whenever I was going that list when we was talking about law of attraction, the biggest one was um, the trait that I think I when I was going through that, I was like I felt something when I was saying it. It was the one about being able to say whatever, even if it's the dumbest thing in the world.
Yes,
Like even if it doesn't make sense, it could be the goofiest thing,
or the
and it's
most
like
horrific thing. I'm still gonna ask you for follow-up questions, but like,
yeah, I mean, like you can still like talk to them about it, or like yeah, like there's one thing about the teasing and stuff, and that's great.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's still like because like that's you'll know that because like you'll see it some based on like how good of friends like you'll have a pattern. Or if you don't, like I think that's where also we will have another part about communication. I think communication is actually really good, even in friendships
Ooh.
probably because I think it's something interesting because we had like we would talk early on. I remember about like things like conflict resolution and stuff. We
Well,
even
and you know me, I don't
unknowingly
tolerate bullshit. So.
even even like as a kind of like their hypothetical situations that we didn't know whether or not they were going to have them. But it's like I think it's actually one thing that I realized that I think people like when they go into stuff they think about all the good times and all this fun stuff. But without that, I actually do think that actually causes where you can't really say as much as you because you don't know how that person's going to react or how they're going to actually respond to it or yeah, like there's just a lot of uncertainty. So like I think that actually by not talking about that, it actually does keep you kind of closed off to a certain extent.
Hmm.
So yeah, so like and also fake. I don't know. I guess it goes back to fake friends. I think our real friends would actually will be more forgiving on a lot of other things and trying to seek out um
Understanding.
understanding. Yes.
Yeah. No. And when do we need to break off friendships? Ones that disturb our peace, disturb our emotional well-being, do not provide any of that. Oh my gosh, it's like that. I can't remember if it's a Japanese or Chinese thing or whatever, but it's like minimalism. If it does not kindle joy, get rid of it. Throw it
Joy.
away.
I think it's joy, or it can even maybe something. Let's say like I was interesting. I was watching this thing earlier with you, and it was about the therapist that was talking about addictions and things, and it brought
Oh
up the
yeah,
thought about like let's say you're like with friends that are like having you through things that you don't really like doing,
yeah. Are those your
or like
friends?
or it's like or like let's say it's drinking, but you want to get away from drinking, or if it's drugs, or if it's like anything that's like that you want to that you
Hmm.
don't necessarily want to be with. That's the hard decision because that's like when you realize if it's like especially if it's something you have a problem with and you know that is when we're
Well, and the thought of giving up a friend because they want to stop drinking, I think if that's an issue for you, then you need to look internally of like,
yes,
what is your relationship with
yeah. So also I think
alcohol?
that's why
Or
like
like,
yeah that's I think that's why like having accepting friends would actually this is still beneficial in that because then might be able to have an understanding and might help kind of support what you're doing.
yeah.
But
Oh,
at the
but
same
if your
time,
only enjoyment is just the alcohol and having people to drink with, well, that's pretty limited. What other things do you enjoy doing with other people?
that was the biggest thing. I think that was a bit also when I noticed like like I've had friends in the past, sort of like semi friends that I would call them. I realized what was happening, and there was one that, like when I would go out a lot or whatever, I realized what was like. I realized when I stopped, unfortunately, because that's the only thing we did really. When I
Mm-hmm.
stopped, when I wanted to get out of that, unfortunately, that friendship started to dissolve, and it just really. And it's like with friendships there, like I still may talk, reach out, but I don't actively try to hang out because I know what will happen in that situation. And I don't want to be part of that.
And you know what? That's okay. You don't have to be
Yeah.
friends with
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah, it's like I may like them, but it's like the situation because it's also about knowing yourself, like what yourself in your situation, the environment you're being put into
Well, and
as well.
again,
So
we're coming back to the most important relationship you have, the
yes,
one with
yourself.
yourself.
Yes. So it's like sometimes the environment, like I said, like environment, because like let's say you're going out and drinking, but you don't like all the other activities that may be associated with it. Whether it's like let's say you're someone that's in a hookup culture situation, but you don't really want to do that. But unfortunately, when you go out in that situation, you might find yourself getting into those situations. Well, then guess what? It's like well, then I can't really trust myself to be in that situation with that, at least especially with that person as well. So like I can't have I have to I have to like do something else and like and it's like or any other thing. Maybe it's other vice or whatever. But so if you see some pattern that you don't like, at least
Well, and I think
that's the
what
thing,
scares people with that is the fear of loneliness, which
right?
my rebuttal to that is, are you, let's see, would you rather be alone and taking care of yourself? Or would you rather all the bad negative attention that keeps you in a downward
Right.
spiral and you can't ever find any friends that actually care for you and lift you up? 'Cause what's that? Those kind of friends that are gonna always be there for you and care for you and lift you up in your trying times, you are not gonna find them in the same area where the people that don't give a shit about you and constantly
Right.
bring you down, add negativity to your life. Those two people, those two groups are not in the same
Yes.
area together.
And it's like it's also I want to say it's like it's nothing. It's not. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these other people that have it. Those people just may genuinely enjoy that kind of stuff and things. They may really
That
really nice. They may treat you good, but also at the end of the day, still figuring out like where you want to be in that. What's your like what kind of person and like if it's
and if that's
harming you
fine with you,
overall.
that's okay.
Yes, but also
Okay.
also like there's now depends on what. Sometimes does it require like immediate like getting out of the situation. It depends on the severity of it, but like I think it at least at the minimum it does require like hey maybe maybe today instead of maybe let's check out maybe a different hobby for today. See what that looks like. What do these people do or what does just the new it's like it's an environmental situation in that
Yeah.
that's to find new friends and stuff like that and like you may not find them right away but it's like you start exposing yourself and over time you start to get used to those I
Yeah.
think and if you start even have good experiences or even good like memories or even just enjoying yourself in those situations
And
especially
that alone relieves so many feelings
yes
of isolation and loneliness.
yeah
If you can actually fill your cup and your joy first, then
yeah
everything else is just candy after that.
because
Like,
like it's not like you have to give up on these like maybe you still kind of
no.
still partial maybe part of your mind still likes this but maybe you're still wanting to get away you don't have to dump that right away. You consider what I'm interested maybe I'm just like maybe I love like running and I want to get in a running club or something or not even a running
Good
club maybe
on
just like
you.
maybe not even a running club maybe I just like running and these different trail running different places or something maybe because I like the scenery let's just go to like a park I'll just go to a park and maybe run and then maybe you like who knows maybe at some point you join like a rug club or something and maybe start meeting people or like
That's
you know
exhausting.
that's exhaust I mean for under years yeah and I get it but
At least in my thought, I'm
as an
like,
example
run. You run for fun?
yeah exactly well some people
Yes, you
do
do.
but yeah I know I do to a point until like my knees and start bugging me and I'm like you know what is it really worth it and
I would say I've
then
never felt older until I run on the
um
pavement. I'm like, oh shit, this is
yeah
why.
yeah, like my example was like, I like rock climbing, I can be social there, and I can still kind of still somewhat maintain this. I don't have to cut this off completely, but if I start like finding something more over here, maybe I'll just like, I'll start devoting more and more time to this
I
thing
love
because
you
it's like,
for that because you go out with a sense of I'm gonna actually socialize, whereas I go out and I'm like, I pray to God nobody bothers or disturbs.
oh yeah, well it's because my situation a little different than yours. I
I know
work
because
from
I deal with
home,
people daily, so I'm like,
and
I
you
hate
all day.
all
So
of you
by
like
the time you get
equally.
home, you're just like, yeah, you want none of it. So like, that's why I'm surprised you even talk to me sometimes. but like,
There are some days, and like, and that's how good of a friendship I know we have. Because I'm like, I'll have just enough energy to be like, I can't tonight. That's it.
yeah,
Like, I'm not talking. I'm not nothing. Like,
yeah. So it's like that. I don't
uh,
blame you. So it's like that's one where I have to understand. It's like well, he has a different situation. Mine's like, yeah, I'm in that household, so like I just go. That's why like I could just go bouldering or something if I really want to get out and see people, or I just do another hobby. Like, I like playing piano. I do play piano for a bit. It's like, but yeah, be your own
yeah.
friend in that situation.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. But I think that's. Is there any other things you want to
I
touch on?
think that's it. And I hope for all of you out there, maybe you are struggling with loneliness and friendship or finding people is very difficult. One thing I've noticed is whenever you start working on yourself and being your best friend and not necessarily directly seeking out something about the universe just has a way about bringing
Oh,
and
and it's spooky how
it
that
is in
happens.
the most unlikely circum. Okay, little quick disclosure. Where did you and me like it was pure friendship from the start, but in the weirdest place ever. I met you on Grinder, a gay sex. I wasn't even on there looking for a second. It was like, you know what? I'm going to manifest this out, looking for friends. And sure enough, in the weirdest way.
Yeah, you know that's a story I kind of wanted to go like when it's actually spooky because that's why I wish I could find that list.
Ooh,
This is starting to get into like the weird universe type way where the other angle that people talk about. It's like I don't know how much I want to trust it, but at the same time, it is spooky like that. Sometimes I'm like, I wrote this out on a fucking piece of paper somewhere, and it's like this is actually very, very, very eerily like things are like coming somehow. It was like 1 or 2 years before that I wrote this, but still, it's like woo, there might be something going on there. But like I think the biggest thing that in that time I don't know. I just like I said, it's like about self content. The only thing I did what I really changed, that's why I like Joe Dispenza a lot, was even with that, it was just like I really started focusing on trying to be just grateful for like as even little things, even interactions,
yes.
because like even
I
just
found
like
myself enjoying you more once I started enjoying myself more. And
yes,
I remember moving from, well, yeah, in my transition or like place of duty, moving, it was like, okay, I'm finally out of that environment, out of negativity headspace. I can focus on me now. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a blast. Even my friendships feel closer and more connected because I'm actually enjoying and filling my cup and my joy and my space. Like
yeah. So
that
like
was big.
that was that's awesome. Yeah, because like I was just like I don't know because it's weird because like for me it's like because like I actually it took the way I've done with friendships and stuff. So like I think I noticed like even little things. So it was just like even just a simple fact of like interaction or just like reaching out or
Mhm.
whatever or just like even just that one interaction is like that's enough to be grateful for sometimes.
Yes,
It's like someone willing to take the time to talk to you.
the little things.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be a 50-50,
Yes.
in
Yes.
my
Oh, and
opinion.
they're still 50-50, but it's like I still think even just appreciating like that like the one like the small little bit can actually give
Yeah.
you the energy back to maybe invest a little bit more into that and see like
Hmm.
how it goes. And like if something comes back, it's like grateful for it, and you can invest a little bit more into that and just kind of keep going. I think it's a natural subconscious thing that kind of does. And not only that, I think it's innate. Also, people like if you express this is where I mean you might be different. I know you have a different opinion on this and certain this, like how you interact with this, but actually I do think that like most people, if you actually take the time to thank them for things, sometimes some people forget that. Even just the interaction, I think it actually does have a positive impact in their mind.
To think what?
To thank them, like just to thank them for like little things that they do, like think
Oh,
appreciate, like I take time to appreciate like
no. Okay, I
things.
do agree with
Appreciate
that.
them. That's like because people do like. I mean, I think it's innate in people to like to be appreciated to some extent for some
Mhm.
reason, like
No,
little things.
totally.
So like you acknowledge that it's like, hey, you know what? You know, it's like you called me today. You didn't have to do this, and I'm grateful for
Mhm.
that. And like that little things, like that person might. It's like they like to be acknowledged that they did something good to them,
Yeah,
and then they also back. So it's like now it's like they feel good at interacting with this person as well because of
exactly.
like there's actually kind of thing is appreciation. You actually kind of you're enjoying someone. You made someone stay happy. Some people, I think I know me. I like when I make someone happy, like someone's day, or make someone smile or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
that, I actually want to do that more. And if I know that I'm making that happening, then it's like I want to do more. It's like you know. But anyway, yeah, this is a total topic about now went to like gratitude and everything. But anyway, regardless, that's kind of was like you know,
Well, that's
it's very
friendship for here and for now. So let's
mhm.
see. In the comment section, add anything like any fun stories about your friendships or any recommendations for other people out there, what if they're struggling with friendships, and I don't know if you had similar experiences and have other advice to offer, maybe something we didn't talk about or touch on, please add it to the comment section. Like it's invaluable.
Yes,
Anybody can benefit
please,
from that.
yes, we'd be grateful
Um,
for that.
as always, like any YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Hope you have a great rest of your, well, let's say we usually do weekly, so rest of your week. Have a good
All
day.
right, signing off.
Sayonara.